Okay, welcome to Wednesday Evening Encore. I hope everyone are doing exceptionally well. Hope everyone are doing well. We have a dynamic episode in store for you this evening. Those of you who are just tuning in, all of you know me as the, some of you know me as the brand maker. Some of you know me as the legacy architect, right? All of it as far as restructuring business from a marketing branding point of view. Yet it affects leads. It affects your business structure. It affects your conversion rates. It affects your messaging, your storytelling, all of that, right? And so there are times we have tools that uh, have been created for our our clients. We have things that we give away, as well, that are on our website. There are times when I work one on one, with clients, um, either one on one or in a group setting. And the things that I'm noticing, especially those in those group settings and one-on-ones, are that how most entrepreneurs are starting off their day. How entrepreneurs are starting off their day. Now, this particular episode, uh, any entrepreneur will be able to benefit, from this particular episode. However, I'm gonna gear it towards the woman CEO, the woman owned business, the woman owned brand. However, anyone can benefit from this particular episode of Wednesday Evening Encore, which is the CEO Morning Reboot. Now, most businesses don't fail at 5 p.m., they fail before 9 a.m. And they fail because not because you're lazy, but because your mornings leak leadership. Leak, Leak, leak leadership. Do you start your day off by serving notifications on your mobile device or by leading outcomes? Is your morning a command center or a reaction pit? If your bank account could grade your morning, what would it give you? Now, this episode of Wednesday Evening Encore, we're going to build an operating system. And I may even call, I may even abbreviate operating system into the two letters OS in some parts of this particular episode. So when I say OS, I mean operating system. We're going to build an operating system for you to inject into your particular day, to transform your day. One that's going to print momentum on command. No hustle, just authority with rhythm. And so that's why we're calling this the CEO Morning Reboot. So, welcome to the CEO Morning Reboot. Now, I know I started this off, a little with some gut check type of questions. You can breathe now. You can sit back. Your shoulders are down. I want you to have my ladies, my women entrepreneurs, I want you to turn your queen energy on. So, your mornings, you open your phone just to check and hand your power over to everyone else's agenda. Have you done that? I know I have in the past. Your mornings at that particular point, when you hand it over to you hand your power over to someone else, your morning becomes an emotional buffet. Dopamine, anxiety, and you repeat it. And by noon, have you ever felt drained? And it's drained from nothing that's compounded. And when you think about it, you're not undisciplined because you're a CEO. You're over available. You're not overwhelmed. You're what I call under decided. So it's safe to change that particular way of the way that you're having your morning without burning your life down. Your morning needs to become the boardroom where your future self chairs the meeting. Now, here's the problem. We're going to talk about the problem, and then we're going to go into the solution. The problem is that many are building their mornings like a to-do list. And CEOs don't need a list. CEOs need leverage. A list produces motion, but not movement. You get endorphins from task and no equity from the outcome. And that anxiety you're feeling at around 10:37 a.m., it's your ambition that's saying we started in the wrong room. Now, what's the solution to that? The solution is to install what I'm calling a morning OS, which we've already discussed. OS is an operating system. Install a morning OS that organizes your power into 4 switches. Now, we're not talking about hacks. We're talking about power into 4 switches. And we're not talking about 27 steps to a good morning. We're talking about 4 switches, no hacks, no 27 steps, just placement over pressure. Now, that 4 switch CEO morning operating system, switch 1, is going to be geared towards clarity. What I want you to do is name one non-negotiable outcome that's going to move your quarter. When do you do that? You do that within the first 0 to 10 minutes before any screens come on. Why do you do it? Your brain buys certainty. And your team and your clients, they're going to mirror that. Now, when you do that, you're going to be able to expect calmness, cleaner decisions, and less apologizing. Now, I've outlined a second switch. This is going to be geared towards your cash flow, your revenue before any type of reaction is actually taking place. Now, this is a one-touch cash vector. Maybe some type of a pipeline, cash pipeline, or a price, or maybe a partner, or maybe a product. Now, when do you put some attention to that? Within the 10 and 30 minutes of this space that you have set up for your morning, while your energy is very clean, while your brain is very clean, it's not clogged up with a lot of trash. Now, why do you do that? Have you heard the term money moves to momentum? Money loves movement. So money moves to momentum. Early money moves compounds all day. Early money moves compounds all day. So we're talking about compounding things. Now, when can you expect to do this? The faster you follow up, you do your pre-sold calls, and you have your fewer check-ins. Those are the times that's what you can expect when you inject this particular switch number 2, which is going to help you to compound your money efforts into your particular morning. Faster follow-ups, pre-sold calls, people paying you before you even take a call with them, and fewer check-ins. Now, switch number 3. Switch number 3 is what I'm going to call the advanced one asset that sells you when you're not in the room. Think of that as a one pager, maybe as a talk outline, maybe some type of point of view type of note that is going to be able to sell you before you're even in the room. All right. That's the creation part of which is under switch 3, creating something. Now, you can do that within the 30 and 60 minutes of that particular 75-minute time frame that you have set up for your morning. Now, we talked about why do you do that? That's what we're going to call the beacon asset. When you create that piece of asset, whether it's a one-pager, PDF, or HTML page, or something that you've posted on LinkedIn, or some type of talk outline, you're going to create that. And it's only going to take you a few minutes to do that. And you have some great AI tools to help you to be able to help you with your creation process that you can use now that you have a clearer understanding about what your outcome needs to be. You'll be able to inject your prompts, into your thoughts, the prompts of your thoughts into your AI platform that you're actually using. And that is going to be created. What you're creating is what's called the beacon asset. And that's going to help you to be able to, from a creation standpoint. Now, when you do that, you can be able to expect introductions that you didn't request. And your name is going to keep coming up in places that you did not even expect him to come up in. Now, switch number 4 is what we're going to call the conviction switch. It's what I'm going to call the micro practice that's going to anchor all of your standards. It's gonna your boundary lines, your own boundaries, your rate integrity, respecting your own rate, and then also the access policy reminder, meaning the access that people have to you, as an individual. Now, you're going to work on that conviction from 60 to 75 minutes of that 75 minutes time period. Now, why do you do that? Because when you respect your own boundaries, when you anchor that into your own standards, your conviction is going to train your market how to treat you. Your conviction is going to train your market how to treat you. Now, when you do that, you're going to expect fewer discounts. You're going to expect cleaner timelines and also a higher average deal size. So we're talking about, and I'm going to give you some examples of a few business women who have had tremendous success by implementing these 4 switches. Now, let's talk about that right now. And our client, her name is Carla. Carla took did this switch within 30 days. And she implemented everything that I just shared with you, those 4 switches. Now, I'm going to tell you a little bit of history about Carla. Carla is a dynamic strategist, in her space. She's a single mom of two. She was brilliant, or she is brilliant. She was exhausted, and she was on, constantly on. And so we helped Carla install that 4 switch OS operating system. It was no overhaul into her business. We simply added some order, to it. Now, and it's all within the switch of the morning about how she started to plan her morning. Now, even though this did take 30 days to see some adjustments, it wasn't something that was already that was she was able to implement within that 75 minutes, because remember, there's a creation process in there as well. So the planning can be done in 75 minutes. So in week 1, after her planning, she moved and created that pipeline, right? Week number 2, she drafted that 1-page beacon page that's going to talk to your particular market before you even step in the room. In week number 3, she published what was called her access policy, meaning she only took calls on Wednesdays. And so what happened is that when people identified that she only took calls on Wednesdays, that increased her Wednesday bookings up overall throughout the week 25%. There was a 25% rush. And week number 4, while installing all of that, she was able to gain 1 partner, get onto a panel, and also, as a result, landing 2 new clients as a result of all of that. Resulted in fewer calls, bigger outcomes, and she had a calmer morning. She was able to do the things that she needed to do for her family. Same woman, new order, different revenue. Same woman, new order, totally different revenue. Actually, the revenue was dramatically different from an increase. Now, she began to, she even said, as a result, that, and I am quoting her, that my clients don't buy hours, they buy my order. Right? Her clients, she stopped selling her hours. And that's what, many entrepreneurs get into a habit of, charging for their hours. No one should be able to, buy your hour for $150, $250, $350 an hour. Now, I know why some may do that, but no one should be able to buy your hour. If they can buy an hour from you, then you're not charging enough. And so those are the things that we have to keep in mind when we're working with clients. Now, of course, they're proven methods and the value that you need to show that you bring to the table, as well, while you are making those type of shift and changes into your own personal brand and into your business. However, by creating that CEO morning reboot, it will give you the time to be able to plan out, effectively about the order that you need to change into your own personal life and also into your business. We're going to replace drama with design. So start with a number, not with an app. Numbers prime the brain for measurable wins and not dopamine loops. Beacon before body. Priming your prospects pre-sales the meeting. Create that document, that 1-pager that's going to talk about the value that you bring, maybe even include a case study of a success story, something very simple that's going to prime your prospect and is going to pre-sell you before you even take that meeting. that can be done as also as a video testimonial, as well, that you've posted on your website or posted on your social media page that you can share with someone. So those type of things work so effectively, and using them in the right way will clear a lot of things up. Have 2 start dates, not 10. Why does that work? Because when you are showing that you value your own time and respect your own boundaries, that shows you have confidence. That shows you have confidence. And that's when you will see people make the decisions. Their decisions are going to speed up. So feel free to create some constraints, around what you do and how you do it. That's going to imply confidence. And name your boundary, not your excuse. Your boundary builds your brand. Excuses bleed your brand. So name your boundary, not an excuse. And close your morning with a promise to your future self. Now, when you do this, this works because identity-based commitments are stickier than task-based ones. So when you have an identity to that commitment, it's going to be stickier. It's going to be, it's going to hit harder. It's going to stay longer into the mind of your future self, and it's going to stick, once you get there. So what we're doing right now today is going to affect our tomorrow self, right? Because where we are right now, we didn't get here overnight. And so what we're doing right now is priming, planning. You're going to hear that word, planning. We're planning for our future self. We're planning for our tomorrow self. And so these are all things that we want to put into place. And we have those type of plans. It's going to stick better than that future self of yours who has a checklist or a task list. Okay, I need to do this today, this today, this today. Now, and this is to my women-owned brands, my women-owned entrepreneurs. Now, like I mentioned, anyone can benefit from this. However, I'm gearing this specifically towards my women-owned entrepreneurs, business owners, brands. When you have many of you have or have carried families. Many of you have carried teams. Many of you have carried clients, and sometimes at your own expense. It's time now to be as loyal to your outcomes as you've been to their emergencies. And you notice I say their emergencies. You're not busy. You are becoming. And when you design your morning, your marketplace reads it as a destiny. So when you design your morning, your marketplace is going to take a look at everything totally different. Now, as I shared with you, gave you an example of Carla, a strategist who is a mom of 2. She is very brilliant, and she was very exhausted, and she was always turned on. And by injecting those 4 switches, into her particular day, which helped her to be able to shift her thinking, shift the mindset, to into a different way, and look at things from a different perspective, because she was clearer. You're getting away from those mobile devices and those notifications. A lot of times we wake up, check those emails, start taking social media, and it clogs our thinking. It clogs our brains. And it's tough to be creative when we're doing something like that. So I have helped woman-owned founders to move from always available to always advancing with one change, and that's the morning order. The morning order. And we're calling it the CEO morning reboot. And a recent client was able to increase her baseline deals from $1,800 to $9,000 within 60 days. It was the same offer. And the only thing that she injected into her business was what we saw from her is that morning ritual, restructuring the morning order, injecting what we're calling the CEO morning reboot. Now, there were some other things that we worked with her on as well. However, in our discovery, we take a look at almost many variables of your overall life, that could be um, uh, affecting the business. And a lot of times we ask those things because we're looking for black swans. And that was one of the black swans that we found. And we actually find the morning routine as a black swan in many business owners, and they're not even aware of it. So this is what I'm going to recommend for each of you, whoever's watching. Take advantage of what I call, what I have, because we want everyone listening to scale, to soar, to be the very best, at what they do, and learn from the mistakes we have made, learn from the mistakes that we have worked with others who we've seen made. We've seen some mistakes that some folks, some business owners, some women-owned businesses have made that I had never ever experienced and seen before in my life. And and we identified a black swan, something that was totally holding them back. And once we identified that, and once we created a solution, for that, their brands began to take off. It's amazing about the things that can hold uh, each individual, hold someone back. And everyone's different. There's some similarities to things, but everyone is unique. And so we've created what's called a complimentary one-on-one 15-minute brand blueprint session. Is entirely complimentary. It's only 15 minutes. You don't need a credit card. There's no commitment to work with us. However, you will leave with a personalized blueprint as my gift to you. As my gift to you. We'll help you map out, your overall brand blueprint, help you to see how you can implement that force switch morning operating system into your niche so that your days can start to pay you back. Now, uh, I have boundaries as well, so I have certain days that I have those complimentary 15-minute sessions. And so those, and I like to keep a high touch. We like to touch, our particular customer, our client, those that we're working with. And so we have a high touch. We have a high level of customer service that we implement with that. So we only keep a few spots available a week for that. So do keep that in mind as you are taking advantage of that complimentary one-on-one 15-minute brand blueprint session. And when you're ready to go deeper, we have three things that will work exceptionally well. You can find those on our website. And if you're on Instagram, you can actually find those in the link in the bio. Those of you who are looking at this on YouTube, you'll be able to see the link in the description. We have what's called the personal brand audit checklist. It's a great way to close out the year, actually to look at your brand once a quarter. It's a quick clarity that's going to help you to find any leaks. Now, those of you um, who have financial advisors that you work with, and I recommend that in my days of trying to figure things out, always thought about from a financial advisor standpoint, folks who were wanting to work with me. I was thinking, oh, I don't want those folks in my business, and you know, I'm not making that much money to work with a financial advisor. But I had to switch that mindset. And so, um, financial advisors, the majority of them don't don't charge for their services. They only get paid if they sell you a product. And so, of course, they're going to try and sell a product, to you. But the great thing about a financial advisor, those of you, and I don't want to get too far off track. However, those of you who have worked with a financial advisor before or do right now, one of the first things that they normally will help you to be able to talk through or to be able to identify the leaks. Those leaks where you may not, you may be leaking, $1 a month or $10 a month or 19.95 a month. You may be leaking that and not necessarily even be aware that you're leaking it. But it's not until you get that audit done and you get disciplined with yourself. It's the same way with your personal brand. It's the same way with your personal brand. Your brand could be leaking, which will cause you a tremendous amount of harm to your business, to your brand, to your legacy. And that personal brand audit checklist is going to help you to be able to identify the leaks and show you how to fix those leaks. All right. We also have what's called the Reinvent Transformational System for Entrepreneurs. It's going to help you to rebuild that engine, that you have, that business brand that you have. And those of you who are really ready to take things going to the next level, have what's called the Brand Power Vault, the assets that sell without you having to do the selling. Excuse me. So I hope this particular episode of WinsDay Evening Encore has been one that has helped. You found it enlightening and helpful, motivating. I know we nudged you a little bit and we asked some of those questions perhaps got you in the gut. That's good though. Many times we need those gut punches in order to be able for us to actually see, what's actually going on within ourselves, to look at ourselves, in the mirror. So please follow, share, save, turn on notifications. And if you're ready to reboot, drop reboot in the chat if your mornings are about to obey you moving forward. Remember, we have many more examples and deeper insights on our blog, which is live at inmm.group. That's inmm.group. And let's get ready and plan for next Wednesday. Our topic for next Wednesday is offering name power. Same product, new name, wildly different sales. So that's what that's going to be our topic for next Wednesday Evening Encore. I'm going to show you why renaming your offer so that it will command curiosity. It will signal outcomes. And you could perhaps even, doing it the right way. And if you follow what I recommend, you'll be able to raise your prices without changing a deliverable at all. So we're putting this together so that you can, this WinsDay Evening Encore episode of the CEO Morning Reboot, so that you can start your mornings like a CEO and not like a firefighter. So your market is going to be able to feel the difference when you start your morning like a CEO and not like a firefighter. And when they feel the difference, they'll pay for it. So if this episode hit, I want you to save the episode. You'll want to save the episode so you can reflect back on the lines. And if you comment reboot, I'll DM you the 4-switch morning OS checklist, absolutely complimentary. I'll send that over to you. And remember, I have 2 complimentary brand blueprint spots that are open this week. So if you want one, type blueprint and I'll send you the link. All right. So thank you for joining. I appreciate you for tuning in to WinsDay Evening Encore. And remember, next week's episode is entitled Offer Naming Power. I'm going to show you how to rename your offer. The same product is going to have a new name, and it's going to help you to be able to create wildly different sales, all right, without changing anything at all other than the name. Thank you for tuning in. Until next time, have a fantastic one.